All right, welcome to The Explainer. If you've been scrolling your feed, seeing those absolutely incredible sweeping mountain landscapes, and wondering how to actually pull off a trip like that, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're building your step-by-step master plan for an unforgettable trip to Kazakhstan in 2026. We are going to break down the hard logistics, the best itineraries, and all the hidden gems using the absolute latest info. So let's get into it and build your ultimate travel plan.
So let's dive right in. The absolute magic number for Indian tourists in 2026 is 14. That's right, 14 days of visa-free entry. You can literally just enter the 9th largest country on the entire planet without making a single trip to an embassy. But as with all international travel, there's a bit of a catch. Knowing the fine print is exactly what separates a seamless vacation from a total border control nightmare.
Here is a quick look at the agenda for our explainer today. 1. Visas and entry rules. 2. Almaty versus Astana. 3. The Golden Ring itineraries. 4. Solo female travel safety. And 5. Budgets, transport, and tips.
Okay, Section 1. Visas and entry rules. Let's kick things off with the most urgent hurdle, getting into the country smoothly.
Here is the really crucial point. Even though you don't need a physical visa sticker, you absolutely must complete this new digital check-in called the Kazakh. Think of it kind of like a digital fast pass. You just hop online, fill out your health and basic travel info at least 72 hours before your flight, and boom, you get a confirmation right on your phone. It just makes the whole immigration process at major hubs so much faster. Now, when you actually walk up to that immigration desk, you gotta have these 5 essentials ready to go. A valid passport, a return ticket proving you're heading out within those 14 days, your hotel booking, proof of funds, and your travel insurance, which honestly is highly recommended if you're planning to tackle those mountain trails. And hey, a major pro tip here, that 14-day rule is actually a rolling limit. You're allowed a maximum of 42 days total across any 180-day period. So you can't just do endless border runs, right? You really have to plan those days out carefully.
Section 2, Almaty versus Astana. It is time to pick your primary base of operations for your travel plan.
It's wild how perfectly the vibe of these two cities contrasts. Almaty, the former capital, is tucked right up against the Tian Shan Mountains. It's super leafy, highly walkable, has a really bustling nightlife, and it's basically your ultimate base camp for nature lovers. Astana, on the other hand, which is now officially called Nur Sultan, is the new capital, and it's built out on the flat northern steppes. It looks like a literal sci-fi movie set. It's spotless and highly modern, but the nightlife is definitely on the quieter side. So if you want action and nature, go with Almaty. But if striking futuristic architecture is your thing, definitely give Astana a few days.
Section 3, the Golden Ring itineraries. Once you've chosen your city, it's time to map out your outdoor adventures.
Listen, if you're working with just a 5-day travel plan, do not try to see the whole country. Keep it tight in the south. Do Almaty and take day trips out to the Golden Ring, like checking out the dramatic red rocks at Charyn Canyon. But if you have 7 to 10 days, that is the absolute sweet spot. That gives you time to fly up to Astana or go deep into the wilderness to places like Altan Emel National Park. That's where you'll find the singing sand dunes, where the sand literally hums like a jet engine when the wind blows. No way, right? But it does.
If you're heading to the famous Kaindy Lakes, here is how your hiking timeline actually breaks down. You start at the gorgeous first lake, but if you want to push to the second lake, be ready. You've got an easy 4 kilometers through pine forests to the first rest stop at almost 1,900 meters. Then it gets real. From there, it's a grueling 1.4 kilometer steep climb over mud, tree trunks, and massive boulders. It takes hours, it's tough, so definitely bring sturdy shoes and prepare for wild mountain weather.
But hey, the ultimate reward for exploring this region is Lake Kaindy. Get this, back in 1911, a massive earthquake triggered a landslide, formed a natural dam, and flooded an entire pine forest. Today you have these dead, ghostly tree trunks sticking out of this incredibly striking turquoise water like spears. It's beautiful. But here is the insider secret you need for your travel plan. The road to get there is terrible. You absolutely cannot try this in a standard rental car. You have to arrange for a high-clearance vehicle from Sati village to safely get over the stones and streams. Trust me on this one.
Moving right along to Section 4, Solo Female Travel Safety. Let's address a major concern and make sure you can travel with complete confidence. Despite some of the misconceptions out there, the environment is exceptionally safe. Check out this direct quote from a solo female traveler.
She felt safer walking around here than in a lot of European capitals. Street harassment and catcalling simply aren't a common part of the culture. Men are generally super respectful. That being said, rural areas are a bit more conservative, and locals will just be incredibly curious as to why a woman is traveling all by herself.
So, to handle that curiosity, here are some pro tactics for your travel plan. First, have a fictional husband story ready to go. When a local asks where your husband is, which is usually just genuine cultural surprise, mentioning he's meeting you at the next stop instantly smooths things over. Same goes for any overly chatty train attendants. As for dress code, the country is technically Muslim but highly liberal. In Almaty, women wear shorts and headscarves are definitely not required. Finally, if you run into any confusion at border checks, politely but firmly stand your ground. You know your rights with that 14-day free entry.
Finally, Section 5. Budgets, transport, and tips. Let's look at the hard logistical facts so you can finalize your bookings. Take a look at this daily cost breakdown. Even though prices have ticked up slightly for 2026, Kazakhstan is still incredibly affordable compared to Europe or the UAE. 40 to 80 bucks a day covers your budget travel with shared transit and hostels. But honestly, the mid-range, $80 to $120 a day, is really where you want to be. That gets you super comfortable 3 to 4-star hotels, great food, and most importantly, the budget to hire private drivers for those remote nature spots so you don't have to stress about hitchhiking.
Okay, literal game changer alert here. You absolutely must download the Yandex Go app before you arrive. It is basically the Uber of Kazakhstan. But the absolute best feature? It automatically translates whatever you type into Russian for the driver and then translates their messages back to you. It's cheap, the cars are registered, it's super safe, and it entirely wipes out the language barrier when you're trying to get around Almaty or Astana.
So before you pull the trigger and hit buy on those flights, we gotta talk about timing. You're aiming for the golden months, May to June or September to October. If you go during the summer, those mountain lakes are going to be totally packed with weekend crowds. And in the winter, unless you're specifically going for the world-class skiing at Shinbulak, you're dealing with bitter cold and totally impassable hiking trails. Autumn is highly, highly recommended for those incredible changing colors.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to really think about it. What kind of traveler actually are you? Are you drawn to the gleaming sci-fi architecture of a brand new capital city? Or are you ready to lace up your boots, brave the mud, and discover a sunken mountain forest? Whichever path you pick, use this blueprint. Get those translation apps downloaded, lock in your travel plan, and get ready for one of the most wildly underrated destinations on the planet. Start locking in those dates, and we'll see you in the next explainer.